everyone, welcome to our latest video in the Head in the Cloud series hosted by Citrus Global. Here with me today is Gilson Souza, who is an Agile Lead. He's worked for some very exciting companies in Germany, some startups, and he's about to embark on a new career, a new job for Team Medica. Okay.
Great.
So Gilson, hello mate, how are you doing today?
Great. What about you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. You're living in Munich at the moment, aren't you? You've been living there for quite a while. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, here in Munich over 3 years. Yeah, in Germany I read for longer than 6 years.
Okay. Well, I mean, we start off really by first and foremost, how were you during lockdown? How's that treated you? It's because it's impacted everyone in some way, shape, or form. How have you found this?
Yeah, lockdown. It was quite tough. Here in Germany, it lasted already around 2 months, 2.5 months. And but the way the company was working, where I was working, didn't change since the beginning of the lockdown, right? So for over 4 months, 5 months almost, people are working from home, which was kind of challenging, especially in the beginning, to adapt to this new way of working. And having meetings always online and having to talk with people only through video conferences. Yeah. It was kind of hard in the beginning, but right now things are getting much better, and people are learning and getting better on working from home and during the lockdown.
Of course, yeah. I mean, what would you say have been your biggest frustrations throughout this difficult period?
Yeah. I believe that especially for me as an Agile lead, it's very important to communicate with people, right? And it's much easier to talk with people and being in these conversations when you are in the same location, when you are in the same office. Yeah. And with this lockdown and having this distance and people not being able to be in the same place and people not being able to quite easily go there and chat with someone else, it's a little bit frustrating. It's that you need to create so many meetings, and you need to often schedule a meeting just to have a short conversation with someone, because people are in so many different situations when they are working from home.
Yeah. So would you say there's probably had to been a lot more structure and planning to your day in advance, basically, to work around people's schedules?
Yeah, exactly. And it became way more, this structure became way more important with the lockdown, because people need to now know when they are going to be in a meeting. And as you cannot just chat with someone on the hall, we cannot just find someone and have a conversation. You need to really have a moment to talk with people and be more structured on that.
Okay, great. So obviously you've learned one of the lessons you've learned, I suppose, was to be more structured. What other lessons would you say that you've learned?
Yeah, I would say that the structure is one of the lessons that we for sure learned. Another one would be how to adapt to situations, right? Because of this pandemic that came now, it's one unexpected situation. Nobody was expecting something like that would happen, that we would be everyone in lockdown, that we would have to work from home. And but other things like that can happen in the future. And you need to work on your culture. You need to work in really ways to make sure that when situations like that are completely different from that comes, then you are ready to adapt to it.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I know they say hindsight's a wonderful thing, but if you could go back in time, what would you have done to prepare for it?
For the specific situation, I think that we could work better in our structure to work remotely. Yeah. So people would be already more used to use video conferences, to use tools, online tools. We had to learn so much about how to prepare a workshop that you would do online, how to prepare for a meeting that you would make it with a group of 20 people or 30 people. How can you organize meetings like that when you have this everyone working from home, right? It's very different than what we were used to do. So if we could prepare earlier and have already these tools and these meetings in a structure, in a format where we could just move it, shift the key, and now everyone is working from home. Everyone's doing lockdown and we are doing okay. It would be awesome.
I've agreed. No, agreed on that. I mean, look, some companies at the moment, they're, edging back into the office, or I suppose certain percentage of the companies are edging back into the office. But now, what do you think is here to stay, moving on from the pandemic?
Even that many companies and many people are moving back to the offices, I truly believe that these remotely working from home, remote work, it's going to be here, and it's going to stay here. This was a trend that was happening for a while. We have seen it happening already for the last years, and it was accelerated with this pandemic. And now so many people have the skills to work online now, to work from home. So many people know how to use tools, and so many tools were developed because of this situation. So I would say that because of all this time that we had to work and we need to do it, it's going to be here, and it's not going to change. Even at some companies coming back to the office, we're going to have remote teams. We're going to have people working in other places as well.
Of course. So as you mentioned earlier on, from an agile coach, an agile lead's perspective, it is good to have that social interaction. I suppose it makes your life a bit easier, and I suppose can enhance the processes. So as you say, you think remote work is here to stay. What impact do you think that's going to have on you, and I suppose on your role and your job moving forward from an agile perspective?
I think that me personally, I had to learn a lot about these tools, how to really facilitate meetings, how to really help people to work even remotely. In the company side, I think that it was very strong, the idea of that we need to invest in our culture, and we need to invest in our culture to adapt fast. And where I was working, we succeeded with this situation. We could adapt quite fast, but you could see that if we could invest a little bit more in our culture and a little bit more in the situation, to adapt to the situations, we could have a better situation with this lockdown.
Okay, understood. So you're about to start a new job soon at Team Medica, who look like a very exciting company to work for. What advice would you give to businesses moving forward? So not necessarily Team Medica, but other businesses as well, from things that you've learned, and what advice would you give personally to businesses?
I think it is exactly this direction that what I was saying. Invest in the culture and investing in adapting fast. You need to have the capacity to adapt. And that's where you should invest it, because the next big thing, maybe it's not a pandemic like now, but can be something that we are not even expecting, that we cannot even foresee at this moment.
It's very true. Yeah, I mean, it took everyone by surprise, didn't it? The severity of what happened, and it all happened very quickly in March, and super quickly. It did, and speaking to certain companies, I suppose some adapted a lot better than others, but on the whole, everyone had to learn to adapt because it was so sudden, and came as so imminently.
And adapt, it means often that you need to change your business goals. You need to change the way that you are working. You need to change what you're expecting from now, right? In the situation that we had now, basically we changed how we were working. We changed what was our expectations as company and growing, and we changed how was our expectation for the near future. So you need to change it, and you don't know what's going to happen in the future, and you need to be able to adapt really fast. And Agile, it's exactly what this mindset brings, that you can adapt fast for the situations that are happening.
Yeah, no, agreed. Well, I mean, it's interesting speaking to some people throughout the pandemic, like that, working from home, they feel that they've had more of a work-life balance as a result. Some people think productivity's gone up. Others, on the contrary, think they're more productive in the office, miss the social interaction. So I suppose it's about finding the balance, isn't it, with each individual and each company, and I suppose they have to adhere to those specifically, and as you say, be adaptable. It is interesting. What would you ask of a modern talent partner moving forward on the back of all this, for you personally?
I see a lot of the value in it's very hard to find good people, technical people, and it's very hard as well to find people who fit to the culture, who understand the business, who really want to be part of the business and what we are doing. So if I would say a talent partner that could bring these both things together and could really help to find people where they are technically skilled, but as well they are interested on what the business is about, what the product is about, and how these two things fitting together can really show that this person is going to be a good fit for the company. Of course, that in the end, who is responsible to really see if the person fits to the culture of the company is the company itself, but the partner could bring so much value in this direction.
Okay, thanks very much. Thank you. Well, look, that's pretty much it from a questions point of view for myself. I think you've been giving some very insightful, some clear, and some concise answers for sure. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? Anything that's that you'd like to, I suppose, anything an issue that's been raised with you, or something you'd like to share an experience throughout the process?
No, I think that I basically would just summarize what I was saying in all this time that we had to talk. Invest in the culture, being able to adapt, and use agility to guide you through this process. That would be how I would summarize everything that we just talked here. It has been a pleasure to talk and work with you for the last 1 year, and hope that things can move forward like that.
I'd like to thank you for your time. The pleasure is all mine, and again, thanks for being a guest on I suppose the Head in the Cloud series. Hopefully this is your first of many appearances, and we can continue working together in the future. That would be brilliant.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you for your time, Gilson. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.